All right, today we're diving into something pretty wild. It's a modern philosophical text called Satan's Proclamation, and it's written completely from Satan's point of view. The whole point is to take everything you thought you knew about good and evil and just flip it on its head. So let's see what it has to say.
Okay, so right out of the gate, the very first sentence is a bombshell. This is not the fallen angel we all know. This isn't the great betrayer. This is a being claiming to be a beloved son, a loyal servant of God. What a way to start, right? It immediately sets the stage for a completely different take on his role in the universe.
So let's get into this new job description. If Satan's main gig isn't to be God's enemy, then what is it? According to this text, Satan is basically a cosmic administrator. His purpose isn't to create chaos, but to maintain balance. He's presented as this essential force that keeps the entire universe in harmony. So you gotta think less Prince of Darkness and more essential part of the celestial machinery. Now, to really wrap your head around this role, we have to look at the text's central idea. It's a concept it calls the cosmic twins. The text actually borrows from Eastern philosophy to lay this out. It says, imagine God is like the Taiji, the single whole source of everything. And then that one source splits into the Liangyi, the two primary opposing forces. And who are they? Jesus and Satan. They're literally two sides of the same divine coin. And you can see how this breaks down here. It is fascinating. Jesus represents yang, that's the light, life, goodness. Satan, on the other hand, represents yin, darkness, death, and evil. But the text is super clear about this. They might be opposites, they might be in conflict, but they are totally inseparable. You literally cannot have one without the other. And this brings us to this key philosophical idea, the unity of opposites. It's the whole concept that you need contradiction to have a complete picture. I mean, how could you possibly understand light if you've never experienced darkness, or appreciate good without some concept of evil? So in this worldview, Jesus and Satan aren't just enemies. They're, in a way, partners in this cosmic dance that makes reality what it is. So if this whole duality thing is the foundation, how does that actually play out across the rest of the universe? Well, the text argues it's the fundamental blueprint for all of creation. The big idea here is symmetry. The claim is that perfection and stability come from perfect balance. The more symmetrical anything is, whether it's a massive galaxy or a tiny little insect, the more perfect and lasting it is. And you can see this symmetry everywhere. The text gives us some pretty clear examples. Just like there's matter, there has to be antimatter. And in the same way, for heaven to exist, hell must also exist. They define each other. The text has this brilliant, simple analogy to make this point crystal clear. Picture the universe as a giant ship. If every single person runs over to the good side, what happens? The whole thing loses balance and capsizes. To keep the ship afloat, you need that balance. So in this view, hell isn't some cosmic prison, it's the necessary ballast that keeps the whole ship stable. So here's the absolute key takeaway. It's all about perspective. From our limited human micro view, yes, Satan's actions, temptation, death, darkness, they look evil. Of course they do. But from the grand macro cosmic view, those same actions are absolutely essential for keeping the universe in balance. He's the villain in our personal stories, maybe, but he's a hero for the stability of the entire cosmos. Which, of course, brings the spotlight right back to us. If the cosmos is this perfectly balanced system, where in the world do we humans fit into this grand design? Well, according to this text, we're in a very special and very dangerous position. We exist on the central axis, the exact midpoint between the two poles. And what that means is that for us, the path to heaven and the path to hell are equally close. Now, to explain our nature, the text pulls out this incredible analogy from quantum physics. It compares us to an electron and its wave-particle duality. You know how an electron can be a particle or a wave, but it can never be both at the exact same time? The very act of observing it forces it to pick a side. So what on earth does that have to do with being a good person? Well, the text argues that this is the perfect way to understand human choice. The idea is that we are just like that electron. In any given moment, with any choice you make, you manifest one nature. When you choose to do something good, your potential to be evil in that moment just vanishes. And when you choose to do something selfish, your goodness disappears. Every single action you take collapses your potential into one reality, and it pushes you just a little bit further down one path or the other. And this all leads us to the fiery conclusion of the proclamation. This is the part where the speaker stops explaining how the universe works and starts accusing humanity directly. The entire foundation of this final argument rests on free will. Satan's claim is that both he and Jesus are just guides. He might lay out the temptations, sure, but he never forces anyone to do anything. The choice to say yes or to say no, that's all on you. And here is the absolute core of the accusation. Humans, the text argues, want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to enjoy all the earthly pleasures, the power, the wealth, the glory that belong to Satan's domain, but they still expect to get into heaven. The proclamation says, sorry, you can't have it both ways. And it does not pull any punches. I mean, this line is incredibly sharp and provocative, and it really captures the hypocrisy that this version of Satan sees in us. He's saying humans embrace the very things he offers, then they condemn him for it, all while acting like they deserve a prize for being virtuous. So the final charge is this: humanity loves to shift the blame. We make our own choices, we enjoy the benefits of those choices, but then we point the finger at Satan when it's time to face the music. He's basically saying, I didn't make you do anything, I just opened the door. You're the one who sprinted right through it. The whole proclamation ends by turning one of our own sayings against us. It accuses people of wanting rewards they didn't earn, of wanting a harvest they never planted. And it leaves us with this final burning question. This desire to have it all with zero consequences, isn't that the most demonic logic there is?